Good morning, everybody. Daniel Spatz from California. Daniel Spatz interviews in English today with Grossman. She was a 29 WTA player ranked in the world in singles in 1993, part of the USA team in the Pan American Games in Argentina. She got the silver medal. So it's a pleasure having her today in my show. And so I'm hoping you guys have fun, and I'm gonna give you the welcome right now. Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
How are you doing? Very fast.
Let me see. All right. It's a little blurry. I don't know why, but
Oh, really? Maybe there is, yeah, a little filter. Are you in Florida, Ann, right now?
yeah, I am.
Good, good, good. And you're from Ohio, right?
Yes, I am. So nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. Likewise, and yeah, I mean, this is gonna be very casual, very informal conversation, like chatting in the airport or everywhere.
No worries.
Okay.
No worries. It's a pleasure
So
to talk to you.
you like interviews?
Sure. Yeah. Why not? I like to be asked the questions. That's probably easier than coming up with your own content, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I don't have a structure, to do interviews. Just I go through the motions and the emotions and very natural way. So, um, look, we here and we teach. I'm a tennis pro.
Okay.
Sports are healthy. Do sports. Stay in shape, etc., etc. But professional sports, you play professional sport. You were as high as 29 in the world in singles, 30 in doubles. Play with the best players in the world back in the 90s. Is professional tennis healthy?
I think that's a tough question because in some ways, yes, it's extremely healthy. Like, I mean, we get to play tennis, for a living. I mean, I think that's the ultimate, right? Um, if you ask anybody, oh, what would you want to be? I mean, I think I'm the luckiest person in the whole world to have become a professional tennis player and to have the success that I had and to be able to travel the world. Um, it's like you can't put a price on that, right? Like I am just incredibly grateful for what tennis has given me, but I also see sometimes the damage that it can cause if you don't reach the pinnacle. So I'm very, I turned pro when I was 17 years old. I think my ranking had just jumped to 75 in the world. My path was, I didn't really win anything when I was a young junior. Like I was solid, I was good, but I never won like, national titles when I was in the 12s and 14s. And I did in doubles. I had great success in doubles when I was young, but then it all kind of clicked for me, and I won the 18 national clay courts when I was 16. I was playing up, and then I won that in the 18s, and then I won the Super Nationals, and it gave me a wild card into main draw the U.S. Open. So that was my first pro tournament ever in my life. Um, Whereas maybe other players were playing professional tournaments. And like my dad just never believed in that. He was just like, you have to win a national to play a pro tournament. And so he really made me earn it that way on that side. So then, I got my ranking up within a year, top 75 in the world. And I made finals at San Diego, lost to Stephanie Reiki in the finals, and went through qualifying, made finals. And then all of a sudden, boom, I was in, the main draw of the US Open, like I could get in, right? So it happened pretty quickly for me on that side. But yeah, I'm so, like I said, I think for other players that maybe didn't make it and they turned pro and, they were just kind of stuck. Like I feel badly for them. I think I,
So
think that's tough on the mental side for them to be able to deal with sometimes.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the mental side. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. I love to ask tennis players about the mental part of the game. Um, you just mentioned few players make it to the top, but I want to ask you this, and we see thousands of junior players out there hitting balls very well, striking the ball beautifully, clean um, tournaments, first rounds, great tennis. I mean, great ball strikers. Even 10, 12, 14, 15 years old college players. Why so the number to reach the top, even 100, top 50 are so small? What is that happening? What is the difference? What makes you reach there? You were in the top 30, top 20, whatever. So
Total
you've
points,
been
I was
there.
total points. I was 18 in the world twice. We had two ranking systems. Yeah, I mean, I had so many incredible wins, beating like so many great players. For me, I just think that number one is, I mean, my background. I think on where I grew up had a lot to do with it. I grew up on a farm outside of Columbus, Ohio. I when I was very young, I would do a lot of work on the farm. I would pick uh, sweet corn early in the mornings. I was in charge of I had like a couple acre garden that I was in charge of weeding it. We had 3,000 strawberry plants, 12,000 tomato plants. My dad farmed soybeans and corn. We had, like thousands of hogs. And so for me, I think that made me really tough. And it was like, I grew up in a small town and I wanted to get out of where I came from. So I think physically also that really helped me, because I'll never forget that I was 12 years old, and my parents had lost the farm, and so my dad was selling firewood to grocery stores to make money, and I was running the log splitter, and I was lifting these really heavy logs and putting them on the log splitter, and it was like 0-degree weather, and I was visualizing like how strong I was, and just utilizing that to being on the court on how tough I was. And so I just always kind of like, I don't know, I just would look at things differently and put it into my tennis when I was doing all that physical work. It's hard to explain on how I felt, but I think so. That was my ticket out. I wanted to make it. I remember I was 15 years old and my dad was so tough on me. He said to me, "Do you realize your mom and I have $1 between the two of us?" That was very, very tough, because I was like, I have to make this. I have to make it, and I was on the cusp of like wanting to quit, right? Girls go through this stage where it's like it becomes so tough. You can see how many girls drop off that are really good because they just can't sustain how tough it is. And I think for me, that was the turning point, because I needed to make it. Like, I wanted to get out of the situation that we were in. I didn't have running water in our home. We had no heat, no water. We heated our house by wood. And that is tough upbringing. And I think also that's why I got along so well with like a lot of the players from Europe, because them having a tough upbringing as well. And I could relate on that side. Probably they had it much tougher than me, right? The Soviet Union and stuff like that, in Czechoslovakia, when they were, when it was communist, right? But I think that for me is what really helped me be so incredibly tough. And when you're out there on the pro tour and you're trying to make it, you have to be so tough. Obviously on the mental side, like, I was an incredible competitor. And I think that's what that's what made me different, because look, I was very small, right? My dad read books. He taught me how to play. I had, an incredible, actually, the first club I went to was Jim Fannin. He was the director of it, and he came up with this tennis tots program. And I used to do exhibitions in malls. I did a halftime show for the Chicago Bulls when I was 7 years old. He was an incredible promoter of the game, and I think I was so lucky. And he actually taught the coach that actually started me, who was a great motivator. He was a baseball player, but he knew like how to make us work, even though he maybe didn't know tennis that well. He studied it. And then I had my dad on the other side feeding me a lot of balls and hitting against the wall in the barn. So I was lucky to have that great combination of that, getting that experience and playing in front of people in malls, and he was actually the one that told me, my dad, to cut off the racket when it was a wood racket. And so I think by all those experiences that actually really helped me as well. And I'm not sure if a lot of kids are so lucky to be able to have those kind of experiences at a young age. Does that make sense? It's just kind of like it all like was like really great for me. I mean, I drove 45 minutes to the club. Yeah, so that was so fortunate. Unfortunately, I lost my dad when I was 32 in the world. I was just starting to split sets with the top players. I was 20 years old and he died of cancer. And so, a lot of players can just drop off. That's the beginning of my career. But I was so tough that I was like, no way. Like, I've worked so hard. I'm going to keep going. My ranking dropped just down a little bit, but then I brought it back up. And that's just a little bit about
Yeah,
my life on like
but
up a
sorry,
little bit.
you said mental toughness. You're sharing your own experiences in life, but can a teaching pro teach the kids to be mentally tough or not?
Um, Yes, of course I can. I mean, I think that the kids that I work with, I have to instill in them how tough they need to be.
Yeah, but
So
okay, but sorry, but how do you do it? Because it's, of course we can talk, tell
yeah.
them fight, never give up,
Well,
all the
for one thing,
cliches. But how we work on that?
yeah, but for one thing, they have to believe in themselves, right? They have to believe. And so, and if you have a coach in your corner and it's constantly believing you and telling you, you can do it. I believe in you. That's very important. And so I think that's what I try to do. I try to just like make it really simple. These kids are so obsessed with these UTR right
Uh,
now. I actually, it's like crazy on how they only talked about the UTR. Like one of my girls that I work with right now, she never tells me the name of the player she's playing. She only says, "Oh, today I'm playing a 7.8 UTR tomorrow."
uh,
I'm like, "What's her name?" So they're really caught up into this ranking system. And I
yeah,
have to
but
say,
and sorry, let me ask you, who is guilty of that?
oh, I mean, whoever created the system, I suppose, right? I mean, I stay out of all that. I don't get involved with that. I just, now I'm coaching and I I work with the kids and you know, be the best coach that I can possibly be. I constantly am trying to learn, trying to be better. And also, everybody that I've worked with in the past, there's something I bring to the table as well as not only what I've gone through and what worked for me, but yeah. So as far as that, I mean, I can't really say, I don't know. I
Yeah,
just,
you coach boys and girls?
right now I'm just like working with a few girls right now. Yeah.
Girls. Okay.
hmm
If you have to coach boys, what would be the difference between coaching boys and girls?
I think like you have to be tough with them and, honest, like I'm an honest person, and I have a great eye on seeing things differently. That is my strength. I've been there before. I know what it's like. And then also, you have to be honest, right? Be tough and to be honest. I think that's what you have to do with boys. With girls, I always ask, how you feeling today? What's going on? How was school? They're a little bit more, boys don't really like care. It's like, yeah, whatever. Okay, on. I'm going to play tennis, But girls, it's a little bit different because, you have um, different arenas in your life. And so if one of the arenas is intersecting with the other one, like say for school, I had one of my students, she would come very often. And it wasn't about her tennis. It was about what was going on in school that was affecting her. So, I feel like girls are super more sensitive on that side, right? We have a lot of more emotions. Boys do too. They just hide it. So I think that's why female coach is also great for boys and for men, because I think they're closer to their mothers most of the time, and that can, I think, have a benefit, because maybe they might get to something that's how they're really feeling deep down, whereas a male coach might not know that.
Yeah. So from the strategic standpoint, you like to structure your girls, your players, strategically, tactically with patterns of play, or you let them play by instincts?
um I'm more of an instinctual player, honestly, because that's the way I was. I see the court, because if you have just patterns, then what if you need to hit a backhand down the line when maybe that pattern is supposed to be going cross court? So I don't really like believe in that. I mean, I know that that's really the what it went to after I retired on all these patterns. But then I talked to so many players. I was like, do you have patterns? Like, I remember asking Tamiko Date when I was like coaching, I was like, do you do patterns? She's like, no. I'm like, okay, good. Because I'm sure obviously wherever you are standing on the court, whatever, highest percentage shot that maybe possibly you should be hitting to get yourself back into position. Okay, then there's certain shots. But yeah, I work on all that on uh, on strategy on that side, right? But then you have to have the instinct, and you have to have the killer instinct to want to go for your shot.
Excellent. When you're walking around watching tournaments, academies, if you visit, which players are really attracting you? Because you said you have a good eye watching things.
Yeah.
Which ones are the ones you say, oh, I like that girl. She's good.
I have to say, okay, so I started Francesca Di Lorenzo when she was 10 years old at the country club that I was working at. And one of my, I never traveled with her to junior tournaments ever. She would come have a lesson with me. I would just give her lesson. I would never just warm her up for her lesson. I was like, it's just the way it was. And she was smart that way too, because she'd be like, no, just give me the lesson, don't worry about warming me up. And I was like, yeah, because you just need to keep getting better, right? So one of my first tournaments that I traveled to her with was the Belgium tournament before the Junior French Open, and she played Rabakina in the quarterfinals. And I go, Francesca lost, and I go, this girl is going to be so good. You wait and see. She's like, yeah, you think? I'm like, this girl is going to be so good. Her ball striking is unbelievable. And sure enough, I was right about that, So it just depends. Like if I see somebody that I really can see, I can see things like that.
Yeah, but what things can you share with us? What things your eyes are looking special? What is the things that you? Everybody's different. Some coaches that I talked to, they said I look at the footwork. Others, the form. Others, the attitude, body language. Everybody's different.
Well, for one thing, she had incredible strokes, right? So you want to look at their strokes to see if they have any flaws, anything technically that isn't, that shouldn't be there, right? So, and then obviously their timing to the ball. You have to have incredible timing and your anticipation to the ball. So I think, that's one of the things why I was a great player, is because I really anticipated super well to the ball. So I was,
Excellent. You said technique, timing, and anticipation. See, I'm taking notes. Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
I think
this is
for
to me
me,
like I would
it,
look. If you will be running a tennis symposium right now for coaches, I will be raising my hand and asking you those questions.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What else?
Yeah.
How about everybody talks about footwork?
Hmm.
You see thousands of videos in your TikTok, footwork, footwork, footwork. What is your point of view about it?
I think you have to have great rhythm to the ball. When I was at Bolletari's, that's one of the things that I loved, is when we had rain days. Okay. And we had the indoor center and we got to, they blared the music and it was so much fun because I just really learned to move with the ball. Sorry, my dog is like,
Ah,
I
it's
don't
fine.
know. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, but
Oh,
he's crying for some reason. But I loved I love that. I love playing to the music, to getting the rhythm. You have to have rhythm to the ball to move to the ball as well.
how do you practice? Let's say you don't have music. I don't have music in my academy, in my court. How do you practice? How you improve rhythm? Give us some tips about that.
Oh, I would say like just working on your flow on the court. I mean, you know what flow is. It's just like dancing, right? Maybe they need to work on their dance moves. Here, can I just get my dog his treat? I'm sorry.
You can bring him to the interview. Why not? Maybe he wants to talk.
He's crying and he wants a treat. I'm sorry. Gotta multitask. All right. See, can you see him?
Oh, there you go. No,
Sorry, I'm sorry.
please don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
So, so how we develop that dancing things on the court without music?
I make them dance in front of you and say, let me see your moves. I mean, you know that if people have good rhythm, right, and can be dancers, then that's going to help them on the court.
Yeah, but some are very shy. They don't want to do that.
Yeah, but you know what? That's maybe getting them out of their comfort zone too.
Good. Which is a tennis match. You have to get out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like sometimes players get embarrassed out there. Like for me, I never got embarrassed, but like some girls, they actually get embarrassed if they do something, awkward or they whiff a ball. Like things happen. The best of the best have whiffed an overhead. I mean, even on the male side, like weird things happen out there, but you have to be able to laugh at yourself. And I think like if you can't laugh at yourself and you take it too seriously, then that's not good. You got to be able to be relaxed, right?
And the toughest player that you ever played, who was?
Oh, the toughest. Uh, well, I mean, Navratilova was so tough. There are certain courts that I had to play her on that were incredibly tough. The first time I ever played her was in Washington, D.C., in front of 10,000 people, night match on Supreme Court. That court was so fast. And I think I was just 18 years old because my dad was still alive. He was there at the tournament with me. And I got smoked. I got killed like 0-0 in like, I think it was 52 minutes. I just kept looking at the clock going, please just get me to an hour. And she's probably number one in the world at that time. But that was tough, right? I mean, you just want to crawl in a hole because of how good she was. But my dad had me up the next morning at 5:30. I was on the court at 6 practicing. I'll never forget that. I can still see that court. And I'm like, geez, I just lost to like Martina Navratilova. Give me a break. She was kind of good. But you know what? I ended up getting a win over Martina in
Yeah.
1994 in Virginia Slims of Los Angeles.
Why
So,
and why she was so great? What made Martina so great on the court?
well, she had this incredible mystique. The
Mm.
mystique was she was so strong. The way she carried herself. Wow. Incredible, incredible athlete, incredible, belief in herself, right? And also she could be vulnerable too. But yeah, so I think because of her mystique, because she carried that, then you just like you were just like, oh my, sometimes people just lose the match before they walk on the court. And that was the same with Chris Evert, right? Incredible, you know,
Great.
incredible mystique as well. So yeah,
And
I mean,
she was coming to the net all the time, right?
yeah, yeah.
So you felt a lot of Paul Forsyth is saying hi from he was an IMG for so many years, Valetieri. Paul always watching. Look, and Your most dependable stroke.
My most dependable
Yes.
stroke, my backhand.
Your backhand.
Yeah, yeah.
The least dependable, the one that you didn't trust so much. Anyone?
I would say my out wide forehand. And now looking back, I just think that because I actually like am a part owner of a CrossFit gym in Ohio. This is like, years ago. I mean, we were still part owners of it, but it's still in Ohio and I'm not really involved with it anymore. But I started doing CrossFit to get back in shape. I'd take my son to have baseball lessons and I saw these girls upside down doing, upside down handstand push-ups. And I was like, what is this? So, because I was really, after I retired, I really wasn't working out. Every time I get into the gym, I just would think about my career and I just like, because that's how I push myself. And so it is on time, right? CrossFit is about you do the workout under time and you race the clock and you try to get all these exercises in. So I started doing this, and this is when I was working with Francesca and she was getting better and better. Then all of a sudden, my forehand became so much better because I was getting so strong doing all these different like Olympic lifting, pull-ups and, just so much core work and kettlebell swings and I was like, oh my gosh, like my out wide forehand is so good. So I just think that I didn't develop the strength for it as much as I should have. And I think that's why the level of the women's game is so incredible now, is because they're able to cover the entire court. They're so strong now. Their out wide shots out of the corners are unbelievable because of the fitness that everybody's doing.
Yeah. So, Anne, you were very solid in Grand Slams. I can see fourth round of the French, US Open, third round of Wimbledon, and Australian Open. So it's great. But what happened? Why you couldn't go further in the draws?
Yeah, that's the mental side right there. Um, yeah, I mean, I was always so solid at the French Open. I made the fourth round twice there. I think that I was satisfied. I think, and I also didn't have really but anybody in my corner, like really pushing me to like, say, Ann, you can do this. You can, believe in
So you
yourself.
didn't have a traveling coach?
I mean, I did, but I just feel like it just wasn't the right type of coach, and it was expensive to have, an amazing coach travel with you back in the day. And yeah, I mean, so I just feel like that's why I'm a different coach now, because I wish I had me in my corner, so because nobody was making me believe that I could really do it. Like I said, like growing up on the farm, my dad was so tough on me. I never really dreamed that I could win Wimbledon. You hear Novak, his biggest story is, he believed and he already put himself in that situation. And because my dad was so tough on me and my upbringing, like who would have ever thought that I could have made it? I'm a miracle, honestly. So I think because I didn't do that is what held me back, because I didn't really believe in myself. And there's so many players like Eva Maoli. I lost her in 3 sets the year that she won the French, and I even had a left shoulder that I couldn't even hit a backhand, and so and she ended up winning. But I just didn't have that great like team that they have these teams now.
Totally, very interesting. When you, let's say a parent come to you, parents, dad, mom, with a 16-year-old daughter, and said, uh, Anne, my daughter should go to college or turn pro. What would you tell them?
I would say it depends on what their ranking is, because the reason why I turned pro is I was top 75 in the world and I could get into every major.
So you didn't go to college, right?
No, I turned pro. I still had a year left of high school. I was 17. It was right before my 18th birthday. I turned pro right before the US Open, and my birthday's in October. So I had 1 year left of high school, and I just think it was just the right time for me because I was there, But I think that sometimes maybe these girls may be turning pro too soon and they're not quite there yet. That was just me though, because my dad's whole goal was for me to get a college scholarship. So my dad wasn't thinking that I could ever make it professionally, really. You know,
How about
he
your
was
mom?
he was solely just wanting me to get a college scholarship because his greatest achievement was going to college. He went to Ohio State University and he was actually on the livestock judging team. And I think that's why I have such a great eye, because my dad like had a great eye. He would look at all the players and study them. And then that's how he would teach me. And he
And
read Vic Braden's
yeah,
book.
but how about your mom? The role of your mom in your life?
The role of my mom, you know, that was a little tricky. I think she was, you know, very envious of the relationship that my dad and I had. So it wasn't always such a great, me, it wasn't great. I feel like she caused conflict with my dad and I. And
Oh, sorry, Ann.
for her to get attention.
Could you see me well? Because it's a little bit blurry now. I don't know if you see me.
Yeah, I see you perfect.
Yeah, but your picture, maybe the Wi-Fi in that area is not the best. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I know. My husband said that the other day. He was like, yeah, there was a message saying that the Wi-Fi was bad yesterday. So I can see you
Oh,
perfect.
yeah. Now it's better.
Okay.
So, okay. So no. You were talking about your mom. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's like, you know, my dad would work all day, do all the chores, and then always try to be there for my practices in the afternoon and work with me. And I would hit against the wall. But um, I don't know. I just feel like, you know, it's tough on the family dynamics. And obviously we've seen it throughout all the years, right? It's tough. Tennis is tough on the family dynamics.
Yeah, it is. The most a couple extreme questions. Your best win
Oh, that was Martina.
and the most painful defeat.
Um, my most painful defeat. Hmm. Hmm. Like, what do you mean? Like what kind of defeat?
In
I
a
mean,
tournament that you lost,
I,
and it was emotionally, that was stating for you
oh,
for.
okay. I do have one of those, but I did make 7 WTA finals, so I'm a little disappointed in myself that I didn't win one of those when I was up like 6-3, 3-0, and I ended up losing. But
Why that happened? Yeah, that was one of my questions. Why you didn't win one of those finals? What happened?
I, I mean, I think again that it was probably scary for me. I think I was just like really like satisfied for where I was. Look, when you're ranked there, not all the eyes are on you, right? And so it's kind of a safe. You get to kind of do what you want. You don't really have that much, you know, what's the word? Responsibilities within the WTA for media. You're just, you know, you're living a good life, playing on the pro tour. You're right there. You're getting great wins,
Mm.
this and that, but you're not a superstar, you know. And I think that maybe I was afraid of that, and also just again believing like I just maybe I just didn't have that full belief, even though I had great success. You know, it's just it's interesting, right?
Yeah, now the connection is not the best right now, but uh, I can listen what you're saying. Um, uh, the city with the best tennis
Oh
fans.
wait
What would you
a minute,
say?
I forgot to. I didn't answer the last part about my toughest defeat.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
I think I think I lost to Arancha in San Diego
Okay.
night match, and I did not play well, and I was so devastated, and I really beat myself up after that match, and I think that really caused me like some hardship. It took me like a month to get back after that match, so you know those are the things that you can't let affect you. You know, if they play super well, it happens. You have to move on.
Correct. Your favorite Grand Slam to
God,
play?
They're also special, right? Every Grand Slam is so special. It's so amazing to be able to play in them. But I mean, always had my best success at the French Open. I love the red clay. Um, yeah, I mean, so that was amazing, honestly. I love playing there. The fans are amazing because they love tennis. They understand tennis. Wimbledon, I got to play on the center court against Monica Seles, which was amazing. How many players get to do that? So I'm very fortunate to have gotten to do that. I mean, Wimbledon is so special. Like when you go out there on center court, you just can't even describe the feeling and what it's like. So that was special. And I mean, playing in the U.S. Open in your home country is amazing too. So
So you're a full-time tennis coach right now?
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm doing a lot of different things. I'm a zone coach as well on the mental side under Jim Fannin. I'm a certified zone coach. And
What is
so,
that zone coach? What means to be a zone coach?
yeah, well, it's on the mental side. It's being in the zone of having self-discipline, concentration, optimism, relaxation, and enjoyment. So you hit a high standard on all those and you're going to have a great day. It doesn't matter what you do. So I build blueprints, and it's because everybody needs a blueprint what they want in their life.
Yeah.
Very
Take,
important.
yeah,
And your
exactly.
goals, what you want, all your different goals on all the different arenas.
Even you work also with little ones or just teenagers
And
or adults?
no, anybody, right? It doesn't even have to be a tennis player. It can be anybody with a businessman and having a job, or, it can be anybody, right? Everybody needs help on building that.
And you watch tennis? I mean, the tournaments now, you watch on TV, you go to tournaments.
Um, yeah,
And you
I'm
like
actually,
what you watch? You enjoy what you're watching right now?
um, yeah. What do you mean? Do I like of course. I
I
mean, I
mean,
love our sport.
the players nowadays, some people like the 90s, others the 2000s, they said now it's just power, power, power.
Yeah, I mean, you have to admire them. I mean, they work so hard, and everybody that's out there playing tennis, and they're working so incredibly hard. You have to admire them.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you like the way the game is going or not, these players are working so hard. So how can I not, you know, be supportive on what they're going through?
Who is your favorite player to watch nowadays?
Oh, right now, this is true. I don't know. I like everybody. It's not like one person or the other, right? I know so many girls out there that are playing, and so that's just a difficult question. I'd love to see their different personalities and how they handle situations, and
And
I
who
get
is
I get a kick out of it.
the most charismatic player, female nowadays, for you, according to you?
Oh, I don't know. Who do you think?
Sabalenka, who do you think is charismatic?
I like Sabalenka. I do like her. I like the way she fights. She fights for every point. She wears, she's a little bit like Martina. She wears, her emotions on her sleeve. You know a little bit how she's feeling. So I like that. She's real out there. I really like Emma Navarro. I think she's such a super great talent. And she's fun to watch. And yeah, so there's everybody has all their, you know, what makes them great, right? What makes them special.
Was Serena the greatest all time? Serena Williams for you?
Um,
Or is
yeah, I mean
Serena?
the records show it, right? I mean, she's
Have you
amazing.
have you hit or played against her? Have you had the chance
I
to?
played Venus. I played Venus when she
Venus.
was coming out in the Virginia Slims of LA. Yeah,
Wow. How hard she hits the ball? How hard she was hitting the ball?
it's been so long ago.
You don't remember.
um, Yeah, it's tough. But I remember, yes, she hit the ball extremely hard. But the most amazing ball strikers were Mary Pierce and Lindsay Davenport as well. I
You
mean,
you play against them?
yeah,
Oh,
Lindsay I
oh.
played, and I lost her, I think, in the round 16 of Miami. And Mary, I played Mary in Rome. I mean, you don't want to play Mary on Rome, how slippery it is. I mean, she hit the ball so hard. She's incredible. Those are
What
the
do you do in that? What do you do? Let's say one of your students
I lost
has to play,
his,
is
I,
scheduled to play a hard hitter player, and she's asking for advice to you. And how should I play against those hard hitters?
yeah, I mean, well, for one thing, you can't give them a ball that they can just like literally set up on and strike. But I mean, they were incredible ball strikers, and they moved well. Like Lindsay was incredible. Any ball that she could get to, I mean, she hit it so well. Everybody would be like, "Oh, you have to move her." Well, it's pretty tough. So you have to find ways, right?
Yeah, but how can you move a person who hits the ball that deep and hard, right? It's hard, it's difficult.
It's so difficult. It's
Yeah.
really incredible. That's why you have to admire these players. They're playing incredible. They're hitting it so hard. And, people are saying they need to get to the net. Well, it's kind of hard to get to the net because if you don't hit an incredible shot, you're going to get past.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a lot easier to be an armchair warrior on
The,
your
the,
couch.
the defense, right? I think you should be a great defender.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, Novak is the greatest defender of all time, right? I mean, he's incredible, right? So that's the
Yeah,
key.
sorry, someone from Spain, former player, Ivan Rodrigo, former professional player, now he's an entrepreneur. He's saying hi to you, that you were a fantastic player.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for
thank you,
joining
Ivan.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, so look, what is your favorite drill to do when you go out and practice with your players? Drill or drills that you love to do every day?
I love to work on angles, everyday angles. I think I mean, it's an amazing shot.
How do you
Yeah. So
how do you do those angles? How do you do? Take us to the court.
take you to the court.
Yeah, let's say I'm your
These are
student
my
now.
secrets.
I'm
I don't,
your tennis student. What do you go? Baseline, service line? Where should I go?
these are my secrets. I'm not going to tell
Oh,
you.
come on.
um, no, I mean, yeah, service line to service line, just angles, short angles. I have a couple other drills that I like to do some drops over the net, and they have to really work on getting extreme angles. So,
What
yeah,
is the secret to achieve great angles?
the secret. Well, number one, you've got to use your legs, right? And you got to take the outside of the ball, of course, but the legs is really, and it depends. You have to shorten your backswing. It depends. Every ball is different, right? That's why tennis is so interesting because every ball is different. Your follow through is never really the same, you know? So you're always adjusting and you have to get behind the ball, to hit a great angle. Also, you have to get behind the ball. So I don't know. Those are a few little things.
Yeah, it's
Few
fine.
little tips.
Swinging volleys, because women's
Oh,
tennis you see a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
You work on that, swinging volleys?
Always. Always. The swinging volley is because for us, hitting a high backhand volley is just too tough,
Yeah.
so you have to have a great swinging volley. For females and for me, look, I'm like barely 5'3", I'm 5'2". So there's no chance that I had the strength to be able to hit a high backhand volley. Guys, no problem, but for us, that backhand swinging volley is so important. And the forehand, because the high forehand volley is tough. You have to put it away. You have to put that ball away or set yourself up for the next volley.
Perfect. And the most frequent situation that I face as a coach when my players come to me on Monday say, Daniel, I lost to a pusher, retriever, kind of puncher. I didn't know what to do, Daniel. They got the ball in play. What advice you offer to those your players? Can players come to you say, I lost? I'm always lose to a kind of puncher.
Yeah, I would say I mean, look, shot tolerance, right? You have to know how many balls that you need to hit to win the point. And if it's going to take 30, 40, 50 balls to win the point, then you got to bear down and you've got to like find your strategy and dig deep and do it. Like that's on the mental side, right? People that lose to pushers are just not willing to go that extra length to really find a way. See, for me, if anybody, I love to play like players that mix it up, you know, hit slice, hit heavy. I loved those kind of players because that was a lot of strategy. I struggled against the big time hitters that hit so hard. They overpowered me. So because I was willing to, oh, I could hit a heavy ball. Oh, I could come in and hit a swing volley. Oh, a drop shot, right? You could, it's easy to have more variety if they don't hit as hard. So I find that as a challenge.
Yeah, but what if your player is exactly a big ball striker and she doesn't have that patient?
Well, she's
How?
got to find it.
Yeah,
You
but
got to be tough, Daniel.
I know, but I'm putting you in a real scenarios. You know what we face every day. I mean,
Yeah.
in real life.
Well,
So
real
they
life
said no, but
is,
I want to hit the ball fast. They said I want to hit the ball hard.
well, then they're going to lose. Like they have to set up their point. How many shots do they need to take to set up their point to get the shot that they want? That's the bottom line, right? You got to set up. It might take you 11 shots to set it up. You have to think 2 and 3 shots, 4 shots ahead, 5 shots. It depends who you're playing.
Perfect.
You know,
The
so I
perfect.
mean, life isn't easy, right? Life is tough, and that's why tennis is the best sport because it's a tough sport, and you know, and that's why it builds resilience for you after your life. I mean, like after tennis. You know, I know a lot of people that have gone through a lot of tough situations in their life,
Mm.
but because they had tennis, they're able to overcome it and live life now. So, you know, we should be so thankful that we're in the game, and I just I want people to stay in the game.
Yeah. Do you teach drop shots to girls?
Every day. Yes. Such an important shot.
Secrets of a good drop shot? What would it?
Same thing. You got to use your legs and get up and take the ball early, right? Same thing. You have to attack it.
How about these guys?
Hmm?
These
Oh, disguise.
guys.
Yeah, of course. On the backhand. Yeah, both sides. Forehand and backhand disguising. Yes. I mean, if you have time, sometimes you don't always have time, right? Depends.
Yeah.
Depends what
Serving.
surface you're on, what, right? It's
Something that has improved tremendously in women's tennis in the past maybe 10 years is the service. And I mean, the girls are serving really well.
mm-hmm.
Uh, what is your point about serving in women's tennis?
What do you mean? What is my point? Just on
Yeah, I
how
mean,
I think,
how important, because I heard girls, they return better than they serve,
yeah.
right? This is what they say. There's a lot of breaks here and
Well,
there.
that was me, right? I won to break every time, and I just had to hold once, and I won the set 6-3. I can't. I'll tell you. I used to think of that way all the time, and I just never felt like I was ever taught the serve correctly. So I just I wish I would have worked on my serve so much more than what I did. It's actually disappointing.
Mm. You
You know?
you teach slice, topspin. What do you teach first?
I mean, it depends on the height of the girls too, you know? I mean, I think it's hard if you're super small to have a great kick serve. You got to be so strong. So, yeah, I mean, slice, pronation, yeah, and if they can develop, you know, the kick serve, then I just like I get worried with kids getting injured when they're really young and learning the kick serve. They have to be strong, you know? I think so.
Perfect.
People
Perfect.
might not agree with that, but I think that's why some kids get injured.
So you said the French are the best tennis fans?
I mean, I wouldn't say that specifically. I just meant at the French Open, they're great fans. They get into the match, you know, you can feel their energy, and they know tennis, right? They appreciate it. I mean,
Good.
when I played there, that's the way it was. I don't know if it's changed a little bit now.
Okay, and it's amazing how fast the time goes. Do you have lessons later, or
Yes,
today is
I
done?
do. 3 hours. Yes.
3 hours. Okay, good, good, good. So, okay, I have a few more questions about. Uh, now, I wanna wrap up with advices. You can, for parents of
Hmm.
junior players who wants to dream about becoming professional players one day, and coaches working with girls. This is going to be very important for you. Any advice for you? Have three group of people listening to you right now: junior players, parents, and tennis coaches working with girls. What will be your advice?
Okay. Well, what? Start with the first one. Like, what exactly do you mean working just with the girls? What do I say to them on junior
Yeah, I
tennis?
mean, what advice?
Oh,
Because some coaches are working with girls only, traveling, working, teaching girls, and they maybe they don't do a good job. Maybe they do. I don't know. What advice? You were a top player. You are a coach now. What would you tell them? Listen, if you work with girls, do this.
I just think that you really need to know your player and what exactly do they want, you know? Because make sure that you know their goals and really get to know them deep down, and also be aware of their feelings, on what's going on in their life, because you might not think it's what it is. And so I think you need to ask a lot of questions. And yeah, I mean, some girls are more open than others. Some aren't so open. So you have to find a way, because there could be something going on that you have no idea that's going on in their life. So I think that's really important with working with a female.
Okay, parents.
Parents. Oh, and also with the girls, just sticking with the process. And same, that's what I would say to parents, is that it's a process. And I always tell my students, Rome wasn't built in a day. Every single day you just try to get a little bit better on what you're trying to work on, and just keep going. You just keep moving, keep going. And 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 their goals, exactly what they want. Because basically, I just feel like, really, whatever you want in your life, you can create it. So maybe the parents have different aspirations for their children than what the kids really want in their life, so
Mm,
they need to know
yes.
that. you know I think that's so important. And just, they get so caught up in the results, and it's just like, no, process. Okay, you're getting better on this part, your forehand, your backhand, your slice, your serve, all the little details, just keep building, like building a house. So that's what I really emphasize on.
And I want you to finish this
I don't
wonderful
think
time at
parents
least.
under, I don't think parents understand that so much either. Like, tennis is a very tough sport.
Mm,
It's so tough. Okay? So I think sometimes if they didn't play, that they don't realize.
mm.
My son is a golfer. He just turned pro, and he's gone through a lot. He went, played at Florida State, then he had to transfer, and he went through so much. I can't even tell you. And golf is even a different beast. Pretty,
No,
it's
this
pretty
is
intense.
exactly what I want you to finish this talk, talking about your children, because one is a tennis player and the other one is a golfer.
Yeah, yeah. So my oldest son, he got recruited his freshman year by all, big schools: Georgia Tech, Auburn, Florida
Tennis?
State.
For
No,
tennis or
this is
golf?
golf.
Golf.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this was his freshman year in high school. He committed in the fall of his sophomore year of high school, and then he didn't play so good after that. He had his spleen removed. He went through a lot of changes with his body. His swing changed. He's growing. Boys grow. Sometimes their timing just can
Mm.
completely get screwed up. So then he went to college, and it was really tough. The coach was tough and wasn't playing the way he should be playing because they just want you to be playing great once you go into college. Sorry, the dog.
No, it's
Anyway,
fine. It's fine. Don't worry
and
about it. I love dogs.
he he went through a really challenging time. He actually told me that he was this close to calling me to tell me that he wanted to quit golf. And a lot of the guys on the team ended up quitting golf and never want to pick up a club again. You know, but the one thing I instilled in my son is that I always told him, to be great, you have to love what you do. And I have always instilled that in him. And I mean, I never coached him with golf. I was just always there picking up balls, doing whatever, if he wanted me to come out or something like that, or tee up balls, you know, when he was really little. But I was never his golf coach. But that's one thing I instilled. And so he went through a difficult time. He was always sick at Florida State. I was like, you need to transfer out of there. I got him to transfer. He went to Iona University, which is not a big golf program compared to Florida State. Florida State's one of the best in the country. They lost in the finals last year in the NCAA. And so he went to school and then he started playing really well, being in making fifth, top 10s, 11th. And I was like, Fletch, what happened? He's like, well, when the coach tells you you're a waste of oxygen, you kind of you kind of lose your confidence, So he literally went from the bottom of the ocean to pulling himself all the way up, and now he's playing amazing golf. He just made it to the PGA qualifying Q school, and which is very second stage. Ozzy, sorry. Oh my gosh.
He disagreed with what you say.
Yeah. So he.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sorry, we have 2 more minutes.
Okay.
Sorry. How about the tennis player?
My tennis player. He's at Oklahoma State right now.
Good.
Yeah.
Where is he? Freshman, sophomore? What is?
He's a sophomore. Yeah.
Sophomore.
Yeah.
He wants to. He's thinking about turning pro in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think anything is possible, right? Everything is possible. I gave Francisco Lindor a tennis lesson, his first tennis lesson. I don't know if you know who that is. He plays for the Mets, shortstop for the Mets. He's incredible. And, that's when I was on the court with him, he just is like, everything is possible, Anne. I'm like, you're right. Everything is. So
Danielle Bollettieri says she has great kids. She's saying hi.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I'm so blessed and fortunate. I do have super sweet boys and they've got good head on their shoulders. But you know what? I have let them make mistakes. And I think that's one of the thing about parents is they're so afraid for their kids to fail. And I think it's the best thing for them is to go through different challenges in their life and for them to figure it out to be world-class decision makers, because that's what you want your children to be, right? And I think that's why there's so many kids that are maybe you're going depressed or have this is because their parents are constantly picking everything up for them. They're not letting them fail. So I think that's why my kids are having such good success. And while they are happy, they're so happy, is because they've gone through challenging times. It happens. It's not always going to be perfect.
And the last question, what is the biggest lesson that you learned from playing tennis?
Well, the biggest lesson probably would be that not every day is perfect, right? You're going to have your ups and downs, and it's how you come back from those wins and losses that even on daily, even when I'm coaching, right? I want to put in 100% every day into my lesson or I'm not happy. And so that's all you can ask of yourself is that if I put everything out there and I did the best I could, then I had a great day, right? So I think that's so important for people. It's just like you just keep going, right? You just keep doing what you love is the most important thing, and things will happen the way they're supposed to happen.
Thank you so much. This interview happened. So I'm very excited. Thank you for your time. I hope you had a good time. 1 hour,
Yeah,
went so fast. At least for me was fast. So it's going to be in my on my YouTube channel in the next few hours.
okay.
So you're gonna be there with all the rest of the players and some of your former opponents, Mary Pierce, Mercedes Paz from Argentina. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I know Mercedes, a wonderful human being. Wow, what a great lady. Anyway,
And
Danny,
you've
thank you.
been in Argentina in '95 for the Pan American
Yeah,
Games.
I played Pan Am Games. Yes, I lost to Florence Labat in the finals and made finals of doubles as well. That was such a great trip. I absolutely loved it. My only time being to Argentina.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah,
I hope we see you. I hope we see you guys in California soon.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, Danny. She's saying hi.
Yeah,
Great job. Thank you.
thank you, and I hope you had a good time. I love it.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. You left a lot of wonderful insights and stories to share with tennis players.
thank you so much. Thanks for
Thank you.
having
Good
me.
luck, and I hope one day I try your angle shots
Yeah, yeah. You got to come on my court. I'll teach you the tricks.
and the drop shots.
Yes.
Bye.
Swinging volleys. Okay.
Okay, and straight
Get, get,
volleys.
get your students dancing out there, okay?
I will play some music. I will do.
Play some music and they'll have fun. You got to enjoy this.
Absolutely. Like the way I enjoy this interview. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All
I,
right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
I see you.
Bye.
Bye bye. I see you. Bye bye, guys. I see you next
Bye.
time.